Welcome back, bookish besties, to another episode of Unsolicited Book Reviews. I'm your host, Abby, and I give unsolicited book opinions on the internet. I got new glasses. What do we think? I think that I love that there's not a gigantic scratch on both lenses. Love that for me. And I decided to go for a slightly different color. We're now doing rose gold instead of gold. But I went with the same shape. Although we've got a lovely sort of like tortoise shell fake looking thingamabob, which is actually quite nice. So I'm very happy with these, and I can see what a time to be alive. But I digress. Today we're talking about tropes. Yes, we are. And I am slightly nervous about what all of you are going to think of me, but I like to live on the edge. I like to play with fire. So what are we gonna do today? We're gonna tier rank some tropes. That's what we're gonna do. I have a handy dandy tier system. I have my laptop over here, okay? So I'm gonna be sort of like going back and forth. I hope you're all right with that. And I have some notes. I made some, I printed, we've gone analog, people. And I decided that it would be fun to go through some of the more common tropes that we find in books, not just romance books, but other types of books as well. And just tier rank them, see what I like, see what I don't like, give you my opinions on stuff. And just remember, these are my opinions. If a trope that I don't like is one of your favorite tropes, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. It's just not for me, okay? And that's the beautiful thing about books, is there's something for everyone. And if I don't like a trope, I just won't read it. But if you like a trope, you go for it. I'm not gonna yuck your yum, you know what I mean? So without further ado, I'm gonna figure out how to screen record my laptop. Technology's hard. And let's do this. Come on. How do I do this? I don't know how to do anything. Screen record. Am I doing it? Click. Oh, okay, wait, am I doing it? I think I'm doing it. Well, I'm actually so bad at technology. You don't even understand. Okay, now, I don't understand why it goes A, B, C, D, but the highest is S. Is this like a sports reference that I'm not getting? Probably. Are we unsurprised? No. So let's start. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, let's start. So the first trope is the quest. The quest to me is an S tier trope. Okay, it's an S tier trope. And let me tell you why. Some of the best stories, especially like sagas or trilogies, have a quest element. So many, especially fantasy books, have a quest element. The Percy Jackson series, the first book is a quest. It's so good, and it still is like in my brain. I live through it again. You know, The Lord of the Rings, one of the most epic quests ever done ever. And I don't know if it could ever be topped, but Brandon Sanderson has a lot of quests in his books. And there's always like quest elements to a lot of fantasy stories, and I love fantasy stories. So I am sold on a quest. If there's a quest, I want it. Okay, I don't want to be a part of it. I want to be here in my house, but I want to read about it all day long, all day, every day. Give me 14 of them right now. Honestly, as soon as there's a long walk, as long as I'm not involved, if there's a long walk, I'm like, sign me up. Sign me up. That's essentially all The Lord of the Rings is. It's just a long walk. And a lot of things happen. And I love it. I love it to my core. The next one we have is the reluctant hero. I'm gonna say this is A tier because sometimes it's overdone. Sometimes it's overdone where someone is just like, oh, I don't want to do this. I'm so reluctant. But they're reluctant for like 5 books. And I'm like, girl, we get it. Okay. You don't want to be here, but you're here. So let's just suck it up and get on with this. Okay. But there is something to be said about humility in a hero. And I think that's the trait that I look for a lot of the time. And most of the time that's in a reluctant hero character. Again, we've got Harry Potter is a great example of a reluctant hero who's like just a kid and he's like, I didn't ask for this, but here I am. Frodo Baggins, another great example. Bilbo Baggins from The Hobbit is another great example. Can you tell that I have the canon that's in my brain? It's a classic for a reason. So much classic literature has a reluctant hero, and I see no problem with it. As long as it's not overdone. As long as the hero doesn't become whiny because he's so reluctant. He or she is so reluctant. You know what I mean? The next is time travel. Time travel, I'm gonna put it A, because I love a time travel. There was a TV show, actually, I know we're talking about books, but there was a TV show called, was it Out of Time? Timeless? I'll put a picture of it somewhere on the screen. And I flipping loved this TV show, and it was just people, I guess scientists, just going back in time in different parts of history. And I love history. I'm a history nerd, and any historical fiction, if we could get historical fiction and fantasy together where people are going back in time, flippin' love it. Flippin' love it. I will eat that up all day long. I don't want it to be like cliche though. Like I don't want them to just go to the well explored. Like I don't want them to always go to ancient Rome. You know, everybody wants to go to ancient Rome. Everybody wants to go to the dinosaur period. But I'm not about that. I want to go to like the places that aren't as well documented or aren't as well. I want to go to the lesser explored times in history. You know what I mean? I want to go to some random town in the middle of ancient like Eastern Europe and just like see what they're up to. I want to go to one of like the ancient Chinese dynasties and see what they're up to. And I specifically want a book where people go back in time and see the creation of like a normal thing. Like go back in time and figure out like the birth of the chocolate chip cookie. Do you know what I mean? Like that, like those are the things, the everyday heroes, okay? Who created ice cream? That's what I want in a book. I want an exploration of the creation and the birthplace of ice cream, but I want it dramatized. Am I asking for too much? And I think this is really an indication that I was one of the children who grew up on the Magic Treehouse series. I ate them up and they were so good. So that's anyway, I'm wittering on. Oh, the next one is enemies to lovers. The next one's enemies to lovers. Okay. Are we surprised? S tier. Are we surprised? I'm not surprised. I love enemies to lovers. Is it impractical? Definitely. The only thing I don't want is if the guy's a butt face. Someone's backing up. Back it up. Okay, can you stop backing up now? I love enemies to lovers. I know that sometimes it can be impractical, but I don't want my enemy to be a butt face. You know what I mean? I don't want them to just be a jerk because that's no fun. And I really think about romance novels when I'm thinking about enemies to lovers. I don't really see them in any other books that often. It usually has to do with romance. Well, duh, because it's to lovers. So if they're lovers, then there's obviously a romantic element. I'm realizing there's a flaw in my system. Oh well. Again, Pride and Prejudice is the OG enemies to lovers, okay? And I love it, and I will always love it. And any romance book that tells me that it's an enemies to lovers, I immediately pick it up. People who don't like each other and then who go beneath the surface of that person, behind the mask that they inevitably are wearing, to see the soft and gooey person underneath. And I love it. I'm such a helpless romantic. Can you tell? Now, here's where things get interesting. Love at first sight. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. C tier. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And I think it's because I don't believe in love at first sight. Like, I just don't see how that's possible, because love is something that's so, it's not just physical, and it's not just like a visceral thing. It's something that grows and blossoms over time. And I think that's what's so beautiful about it. So when people are like, love at first sight, I'm just sort of like, really? Or did you just want to sleep with them? Because that's fine, but I don't think that's love at first sight. So I'm going to put that at C tier because people are like, I saw them from across the room and my heart wanted no other person. And I'm like, are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Because that's fine, but are you sure about that? I'm just not convinced by it ever. I've never been convinced by a love at first sight trope. It's never felt real to me. And that's why it's at C tier. Again, if this is one of your favorite things, that's okay. That's good for you. But I just don't buy it. Friends to lovers. Okay, I'm gonna go B tier. Because I see the appeal and I get it, it's cute. But I think there's a difference between childhood friends to lovers and adult friends to lovers. If you've been friends since you were like 6 years old and you're now like early 20s and you've realized that the person that you've always wanted has been right beside you the whole time, you know? That's great. I love that. That's sweet. It's wholesome. But if you were like early 30s, you've been friends since early 20s, and suddenly you realize that that person is the person for you, I'm just sort of like, like one of you always fell first, and what have you been doing this whole time? You know what I mean? Like, why have we waited this long? I just can't, like, just say, you know, just say how it is. But I am also, this is completely unrealistic. It's just not for me, okay? It's just not for me because I know that there are different examples. And if you have any great recommendations for a friends to lovers or a love at first sight, like, please tell me, because I think maybe the ones that I'm reading are not the most well done. And I need something that's really going to get the heartstrings. But if there's like any form of miscommunication, if there's any form of someone being like, well, I'm just not going to tell them, then I'm like, not interested. Okay? Love triangles. No. And let me tell you why. Because I am afflicted. I have an affliction where I always end up rooting for the wrong guy and I always get heartbroken. Not anymore. I've decided that I don't need that kind of negativity in my life, and I'm not doing it. I have to save my heart, okay? I have to protect my heart, and I can't do love triangles anymore. I just can't. And people are like, will they, won't they? Who's she gonna choose? And I'm like, at this point, I don't care, okay? At this point, I don't care. Just put me out of my misery. Wow, I'm really feeling it today. Feeling a little spicy. Okay, anyway, forced proximity. Okay. B or C. B. C. Forced proximity, again, I'm just talking about realistically. Forced proximity just doesn't do it for me. Because the entire time that I'm reading it, I'm like, but what happens when the proximity isn't forced anymore? What happens when you can like go out with your friends and like meet people and interact with the world? And you know how like I think there was a trend going around maybe like a year ago where people were like, book couples that I think wouldn't be together anymore. When I think of book couples that wouldn't be together anymore, I always think of the forced proximity trope. And I'm thinking, yeah, bro, it's no wonder that she's in love with you. You're decent looking and you're the only guy who's not a complete jerk within 500 miles. What did you expect was gonna happen? But what happens when she's out in the world and meets other people and she, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm the problem. I'm not convinced. I just worry for the longevity of the relationship. All these fictional characters who aren't real, 100%. But I just want what's best for them, you know? Fake relationship, D tier. D. What are we doing? Okay, I understand if it's like within the context of like a high school thing. Like To All the Boys I Loved Before, that one. Is that what it's called? Or P.S. I Love You? No, that's different. To All the Boys I Loved Before is a great example of like a high school where they're trying to make someone jealous, but you're in high school, you're immature. Yeah, love, like fine. But like if I'm saying that, then should it be in D tier or should it be in C tier? No, you know what? I'm against it, okay? Why are we doing this? Why are we encouraging deception? And especially if you're doing this as an adult, what are you talking about? What are we doing, okay? Because you're a grown person. So why are you like, I need you to come and pretend to be my girlfriend so that you can come to my family Christmas so that people don't bug me about not having a girlfriend. And I'm like, bro, be so for real. You are not a social pariah because you are single. You're fine. Own it. Okay, you just haven't found the right person. And then suddenly you're fake dating, and then when did the feelings stop being fake and stop being real? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I'm being so ruthless right now, and I'm sorry. But just what are we doing? Just own the fact that you're single. It's okay. You'll be fine. I promise. Now, second chance romance. I would say C. Man, I'm being ruthless right now. There was a reason you broke up the first time. And like, what's changed? I think for me personally, again, I'm like thinking about this from a realistic standpoint. And if you already broken up once, like, why are we doing this again? What's changed? You know, why are we giving this another shot? I am very much the type of person who, back when I was dating, if we had broken up, that was it. Excommunicado, I was not talking to you anymore. I was done. And just rip it off like a Band-Aid, we're finished. And that worked for me. I know that for other people, it doesn't work like that, and other people take longer to detach. I just couldn't imagine going back to an ex. Like, and obviously I'm happily married now. And my husband is wonderful. But like, I couldn't. If my husband wasn't in the picture, if I like had never met him, the idea of going back to an ex is terrible. Like I couldn't do that to myself or to them. You know, I'm a lot. I get it. Amateur sleuth. Oh yeah, baby. Let's do it. A tier. What a ride. What a ride. Thursday Murder Club. Perfect example. I love when we just have like someone who has no business sticking their nose into police business, but they do. That's what I want to be when I'm old and can like get away with more. You know what I mean? When I'm like 80 and people are like, oh, she's just an old granny. Like, how much harm can she do? I can do a lot. I could mess up so many things, and I'm going to, because I just want to be like on the phone with my police constable friend saying, another murder has happened. Wasn't me, but I'm going to help you figure it out. And they're like, no, Abby, you can't keep doing this. And I'll say, it's too late. Meet me at this location. And then we're at it once again. That's the dream. That's what I love. Also, everyone in my family has killed someone. That Ben Stevenson? Is that his name? Those were great. Amateur sleuth ones. Any of the Thursday Murder Club. I just think there's something so wholesome about it. Because this person's just trying their best. And a lot of the time, they weren't like looking for this. Did anybody remember the Father Brown series about the crime-solving priest? Okay, if you haven't watched the Father Brown series, I think that it's also a book series, but I was introduced to it because it was on the BBC or ITV, and I just love that stuff. There's also a spin-off called Sister Boniface. Crime-solving nun. That's what I love. Accidental pregnancy. If there was something below D, I would put it below D. Because, like, what do you mean? Why is it that the most interesting thing a woman can do is get pregnant? What do you mean? You know what I want? An accidental curing cancer trope. I'd read that. And women are just as capable of doing that. So why are we so focused on accidental pregnancy? You know, I'm over it. I don't care. If they want it, great, but I'm just not interested. No, thank you, moving on. Small town with secrets. Okay. You know I love my mystery thrillers. And this is B tier for me. Because I just love when people, like the main character's biking down the street and they're like, oh, and that's the old lady's house. She's lived here since the 50s and she's now like 80 something and we don't know much about her. And meanwhile, she's got like bodies in her basement. A murdering granny's crazy, but she just like supports every local child's lemonade stand. Like, that's what I love, when you just have a small town where everybody's done something crazy and you don't know what you're gonna find out next. And especially in a mystery, when the entire town has a very ominous feeling. Great. Oh, what was that? When I read 11/22/63, the town of Derry, that's the vibe. That's the vibe where you're just sort of like, oh, this town's creepy. Because that's also the town in It. I haven't read It. I have no interest in reading It. Clowns are scary. But that sort of vibe where you're just like, the town itself is ominous. If the walls could talk, you know what I mean? The next one is Bloodstained Family, and I love Betia. I love it. This is a great trope because it can be done in multiple ways. You have like the historical fiction side of a Bloodstained Family, where you have like a dynastic family who's been in power for generations because they've just been killing their enemies, and the blood of their enemies stains their hands, and the sins of the father and all of that stuff. But then you have it from like a mystery thriller perspective, where a parent or a grandparent has done something that the rest of the family doesn't know, but then suddenly it comes out and you realize that the main character comes from this evil or super messed up bloodline, you know, and it follows them, and they were always wondering why they were different or why things were going weirdly for them. That I love. And there's just something very ominous about it. And the reveal when you find out like it's a family member and that the family itself is implicated in whatever's going on. Oh, I love it. I eat it up. Betia, for sure. Ticking Clock. Betia. Does anybody remember the TV show 24? And where like every episode was an hour and something terrible would happen if it reached the end of 24 hours. I love like the adrenaline rush that I get. I think a really great example of that is Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson, because you have this end time. Like the main character knows she's gonna die. And you have that in your head constantly going like, she's running out of time. Like, what are we gonna do? She's running out of time. And that just really gets the heart pumping, and you constantly are turning the page to find out what happens and what happens when we get to that time. So when it's done well, really like it. Unreliable narrator, D tier. Why are you doing this to me? You know, like, why are you doing this to me? The relationship between the narrator and the reader is sacred. It's sacred. Why are you betraying me? Okay, I just need to be told what's happening, and I need to be able to trust that what I'm being told is true. And it really ticks me off when the narrator's like, I forgot to mention that. Girl, what do you mean you forgot to mention it? Why do you hate me? I just can't do it. I feel very passionate about this, and I just can't do it. And the last one is Amnesia. And you know what? S tier. I just love it so much. I love it so much because the idea, especially within like a romantic storyline, the idea that two people who have met and fallen in love and have this beautiful life together do it a second time because that's how much they are meant to be together. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it. Oh, my heart can't take it. And the reveal when the person like remembers and you're like, oh, shut the front door. Waterworks. Niagara Falls coming out of my eyes every time. I am obsessed. Anytime there is any sort of amnesia trope, sign me up. I will cancel my plans for that. Okay, so honestly, I'm not mad about this. I feel like we have a good range of like S tiers and D tiers. I know this isn't all of the tropes. I know that there are many more tropes that exist. And if a trope that you love has not been included in this video, please leave a comment and I will add it to the inevitable next video that I do about this, because I realize that I love tier ranking things and I'm gonna do it again. But if I don't like a trope that you love, give me some recommendations down in the comments of examples of this trope that you love. And I will consider reading it for you. And if there are tropes that I have not included, please let me know. And I will keep those in mind for the next one. I know this was a bit of a shorter one this week, but I just thought this would be so fun to sit down and chat tropes for a little bit. But wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I hope that whatever book you're reading right now is good and that you have unhinged opinions about it. And I will see you next week. Bye.